أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم. Ayah number 8, Surah Al-Hashr. Look at the background. The wealth of Fae. What is Fae?
It's the money that is after the war, the money that came to Prophet ﷺ
Without fighting.
without fighting.
When the Muslim get money from the non-Muslim and there is no need for fighting but they surrender, okay? So now that, how you going to spend it? So we mentioned here. Allah, Rasul, we discussed this. The relatives of the Prophet, the orphans, the poor and the travelers, okay? These are the expenditures of Fae, how the Fae should be distributed. Now look, there are 3 more verses which are coming in this context. The expenditure are the masarif of the Fae finish. But look here, Allah didn't say this Fae is for Muhajirin, the one who migrated from Mecca to Medina. And look here, in the next ayah, inshallah tomorrow, Allah say this is for Ansar, who were in Medina. And in the 3rd ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, this is for all the believers who will come until the day of judgment. So what does this mean? What are these 3 ayahs here? That here, okay, they are for the muhajirin. Why? Because these muhajirin are Dhul Qurba. The Bani Hashim, they came with the Prophet. They were not belonging to Medina. So they are muhajirin. The second thing is that there will be orphan also in the muhajirin. And the third is that they will be all poor because they left everything. And they will be travelers also because they came. So they are already covered in this ayah. But tarjih, priority will be given to muhajirin. So if suppose there is a poor person who is not from muhajirin, right, and there is another poor person who is from muhajirin, so this poor will be given priority also in that he will be first and he will be given more also. Okay, so this is tarjihan, that muhajirin will be given more. Or Ansar, because there might be a Muslim who is not Muhajir, who is not Ansar. He's the third one. He later accepted Islam. He came from other place. He came from Yemen. I'm just telling you. So these Ansar and Muhajirin finish when they passed away. No more Ansar or Muhajirin until the day of judgment. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just mentioned this, that this is ataf on that this is for all the believers who will be coming after the day of judgment. The purpose is not to spend the masarif of Fae, but they should be well-wisher of the main subject of the ayah is this one. So these 3 are, Allah after mentioned 3 people, Muhajirin, Ansar, and their followers until the day of judgment, who are the well-wisher and sympathetic and respectful to the Muhajirin and the Ansar. They will be giving it. All of them, no. The Yatama, the Masakin, and the Ibn Sabil of the people until the day of judgment will be getting it. So in reality, the Masarif are just these. But these are Allah, more than the expenses, the expenditure. Allah is describing the fazilat and the virtues of Muhajirin here. More than describing the expenditure of Masarif, Allah is describing the fazilat and the virtues of the Ansar. And the same thing go for the other one. Samajh gaye meri baat? Okay, so now look here. This Fae is for the poor, lil fuqara. Okay, al muhajirin, the immigrants who went from Mecca to Medina. Lil mean it is, the Fae is for them, tarjihan, on priority basis. Alladina, those ukhriju, who were expelled, min diyarihim, from their houses, wa amwalihim, and their wealth. They left everything in Mecca. Why? Yabtaghuna, they were seeking fadlan, the grace min Allah of Allah, wa ridwana, and His pleasure. وَيَنْصُرُونَ اللَّهَ, they were supporting Allah وَرَسُولَهُ and His Messenger. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ, they are indeed the real true people. अब समझ गए मेरी बात? Okay, so now look here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, Muhajirin are al-fuqara. Why should they be fuqara? Because some of them were very rich in Makkah, potentially. They have a lot of land and they have a lot of wealth and gold and everything. But they left everything and they are in Medina. Now, the wealth that they left in Makkah and it went in the hand of the kuffar. So they lost it, or they're still owner of it. This is, we need to understand. Because this has ramification for us until the day of judgment. Like for example, look, Muslims were in Spain. So Muslims lost Spain or Palestine, right? So now look here. These were, suppose, all the lands and the houses of the Muslims. When the Muslims, they were expelled from Spain, so now the non-Muslims are owning it. अब समझिए, suppose after 50 years, there is a reasonable population of Muslims in Spain again. And a Muslim want to go and buy this place from a non-Muslim. So how will be these transactions? Halal or haram? Because if the non-Muslim is legal owner, then a Muslim can buy from him. But if he is not the legal owner, so how can he buy from him? So this is masala ikhtilafiyya. Amongst the ai Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and Imam Malik, they say, although it is ghasab, morally, spiritually, but legally, the qabza or the occupation of the kuffar is okay. Because the kuffar might be there until the day of judgment and different situations are coming. So how can you say it is not? Because more Muslims might be buying for them. So Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa say that when a Muslims are expelled from a land, the people occupy their country. So although it is haram for them, but legally the qabza or the occupation of the kuffar will be, for legal purpose, considered okay, so that they can do transaction further. And Imam Shafi and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal say no, it is not. Right? So now look here, also I want to make a point. This thing you all need to understand very well. That we come across nowadays a lot of time that when we say Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, so the people say, why you have to bring these people? They came 100 years after the Prophet. So why you don't tell us a Qur'an ayah? Or why you don't tell us a hadith? You are going to be hearing this a lot. This is because of the lack of knowledge. It's a very superficial statement. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik only come in the middle if there is no Quranic ayah or no hadith. Or if there are a hadith 5, 6, 7 and some Quran and tatbiq or coordination need to be made. Then they make opinion. If the things are very clear cut, how many sajda in salat? In one rak'ah, two. Are there aqwal of aimma? No, because the hadith is clear. There are 2 sajda. There is 1 ruku. So agreed upon masail are 90%. Only 10% are the ones that there is no clear-cut ruling of the Quran or hadith, or there are a little bit apparent contradiction that tatbiq need to be made, then the aimma come in the middle. Now, if I tell you there is a situation like this, a Muslim is buying property from a non-Muslim in Spain, it's halal or haram, how it going with the legal thing? Where is the hadith? There is no hadith. So if you don't say, I don't follow the aimma, what are you going to be doing? Ab samajhiye na meri baat. So this is most of the time it is qillatul ilm and qillatul basira. They don't have, they just say something. And when they are trapped, then they don't have any answer. They look at the same Maliki and Hanafi fiqh and they find the solution, the answer, and then they give it to their people because there is no other, nobody can do better ijtihad than them until the day of judgment. Ab samajh gaye meri baat? Okay. So this is how it is. Now, Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa say, what is their qawl supported by this ayah? Although they were owners in Makkah, but Allah said they are fuqara. So what that mean? That they legally lost it. Otherwise, why will they be fuqara? आप समझिए मेरी बात? Okay. If you say they are traveler only for 15 days. After 15 days, you don't become traveler. Okay? So now, للفقراء المهاجرين, this fay is for the poor immigrants. الذين हाँ चलो तुम तो हो आ जाओ हाँ मैं भूल गया कि आप भी होते हो हाँ
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. للفقراء, this fay is for the poor, al-muhajirina, immigrants, الذين, those, أخرجوا, who left, who were expelled, min diyarihim, from their homes, wa amwalihim, and from their wealth, yabtaguna, because they were seeking, fadlan, the grace, min Allahi, of Allah, wa ridwanan, and His pleasure, wa yansuruna, and they were helping Allah, wa rasulahu, and His Prophet, ulaika, those are the one, humus sadiqun, they are the true people.
Indeed. Okay, so another point I forgot to elaborate, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that they were looking the fadl of Allah, which we translate as grace, and the pleasure of Allah. Remember, most of the time fadl is used for the worldly sustenance. Okay? And ridwan is used for the hereafter mainly. So what that means, if a person do hijrat, so historically if the hijrah is true only for the sake of deen, so what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the ways for them. Okay? وَمَنْ يُهَاجِرْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ يَجِدْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُرَاغَمًا كَثِيرًا وَسَعَةً. You might say the people in Gaza, they are muhajirin from Tel Aviv. So why they are poor? Because the oppression has not stopped. With the oppression stopped, like for example, who are the most rich people in Pakistan? Muhajirin. The one who, when the India were divided, it became India, Pakistan and India. So a lot of Muslims, they migrated. And the whole Karachi, not the whole Karachi, but the main economy of the Karachi is in the hand of who? Muhajirin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them. आप समझ गए ना मेरी बात? This sheikh, that he was the sheikh, the number one grand mufti of Pakistan, and we are using this translation of his son. Okay, he came from where? He came from India. He migrated. आप समझ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them much more. So this is the promise of Allah, that whenever you do hijrah for the sake of Allah and the oppression stop, then after that what will happen? Allah will give you much more, because the promise of Allah. وَمَنْ يُهَاجِرْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ يَجِدْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُرَاغَمًا كَثِيرًا وَسَعَةً. So now look here, when they were looking for the sustenance also, fadlam. That is why when you enter the masjid, what is the dua? Abwab rahmatik. So you are asking for rahmah. When you're leaving, what you say? Min fadlik. What is the problem with it? Fadlik. Look, when you leaving the masjid now, you're going to be going to your job, right? So what you're going to be looking for? Money. And that money is called what? Fadl. Okay, so when you're leaving the masjid, you are asking fadl. When you are entering the masjid, you are asking what? Mercy. समझ गए ना? فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله. समझ गए? हाँ. Okay. So then after that, مهاجرين الذين أخرجوا. Here من ديار. What is it? إخفاء من ديارهم وأموالهم. يبتغون.
قلقلة.
تنوين followed by mim.
That's إدغام مع الغنة.
The name of Allah.
The name of Allah would be full mouth, because ma qabl is maftuh.
Tanween followed by waw. إدغام مع الغنة, right? Huh?
Yes.
Okay. أولئك هم الصادقون. Huh?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. للفقراء أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. للفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا وينصرون الله ورسوله أولئك هم الصادقون.
وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب